Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Kalder and Ian. This episode is all about Nationals. We're heading to Columbus, baby. That's right, Origins is coming up. This is episode 565. Howdy, howdy. Let's get rowdy.
Do you really wanna click save?
Leadership,
Roll a six, make a move extreme.
token up,
Taking action from your team. I go straight to your start, hypersonic speed.
roll a 5,
Getting brave, hitting blades, claws, fangs.
KO,
Stick and move, click a few just to hit a stop. Need a 3 CCE on a flurry close.
tear your dials apart.
Once the timer starts, do you really wanna click save? What's going up must come down. Do you really wanna click save? Baby, you gotta find the word you soon become. You're the best, the judge is wrong, but you apply the damage on. Roll your dice for initiative, son.
Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Use code DIAL5, DIAL5, for 5% off your Heroclix order. And if you go to shop.whizkids.com, you can use code DIALH10, DIALH10, for 10% off your Heroclix order over there. Not usable with certain pre-orders, promos, or iconics. Joining me, like always, in the studio is Ian Eggleston. What's going on, Ian?
Oh, man. The event season has been kicked off already, but I am really excited for the return of Nationals. I've got a lot of good memories of Origins. You know.
Yeah, specifically Nationals at Origins. It's going to be a good time.
It's a great space. I mean, the last time I attended, I think I was like, this was probably like 9 years ago at this point. It was like World's Finest was the set. But, you know, Luke and I drove down like whatever, 10 and a half, 11 hours, like through the night. Great trip. Just played BRs the whole time. Like I was completely out of the competitive circuit at the time. I've got a funny story about that too. I'll share it. I didn't know what Colossal Retaliation was. Like this was around the time where, you know, I'm in college and I had kind of fallen out of the game. And from, I guess, a very casual perspective then, I was walking by the modern tables and I saw these tables that had like 3-4 brimstones on them, you know, like the big nasty ones who like, and they were dirty. They were dirty figures. No idea what Colossal Retaliation was again. And I walked over to this group of like random people, you know, we're getting ready for BRs. And I made some comment like, it's really cool that like the larger figures are making a splash in competitive now. And these guys are just rolling their eyes like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, if you like, fuck, you know, this, blah, blah, blah. And I remember like walking away, I was talking with Luke. I was like, gosh, those guys were really rude. You know, not realizing that I'm promoting like one of the
Huge
most like abusable mechanics.
Tactics, yeah.
And I didn't know.
Oh, it's so funny.
So, but I just remember thinking like,
wow, the Atom? That's so cool.
yeah, that's awesome. I was like, big figures on the map. I was like, I've never really seen that in a competitive setting. That's awesome. You know, because previously it's like
that was kind of the vibe for like a little bit when they came out, but then it was like,
it was a vibe for me.
Dude.
That's my vibe.
Yeah.
I was enjoying my vibe.
Then it was like Mangog and whatever else. But it really was the Mighty Thors what pushed it over. And then it was like, oh, this is really miserable.
And all those guys, I probably cleaned their clock a time or two in the BR, so maybe they were salty about that.
Probably, yeah.
We were balling out at Origins at that time.
It's been, I guess I went to the last Origins that was at last Nationals that was actually at Origins, and I guess that was 2019. So then, yeah,
no,
it's been a minute.
It's like X-Men animated.
No, they were doing AI sealed. We were playing a BPI. Excuse me, AI was the year before Avengers Infinity, and then Avengers Black
That was
Panther,
the year with like the double. So people pulled two Chase Red Skulls.
Yeah,
I remember
cleaned
that.
house with that, and that is because that's how Team Sealed used to be. You get 6 boosters.
Yeah.
Which, oh my gosh, thank goodness it's brick now, dude. Oh, thank goodness it's brick.
Yeah, the full brick is so nice. That's a great reminder of how nice that is.
And also the fact that they opened, that was the largest Team Sealed ever, was Avengers Black Panther, the Illuminati.
And they hit gold.
They hit gold. They hit double Red Skull. But then nobody in Team Sealed pulled an Ultra Chase Thanos. That was another really big thing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, I truly am excited for the return to Origins. I think as far as a national setting goes, and you know what, we'll get back into this when we start talking about Origins. How about we talk about the hallmark of the show, right?
Oh, yeah, we got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, what made you happy this week, Kalder?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big action figure guy. Love action figures. Love collecting action figures. All that stuff's been a huge part of my life for a really long time. And I got to know a training client of mine. We were working out, obviously, as you do. I'm a personal trainer. That's what you do. You work out. And we were like chatting about stuff. And he was talking about how he was stationed over in Hawaii for a time, and that his family was really big fans of like Disney, some friends of his. And that apparently at some Disney Hawaii resort, they make a Christmas ornament once a year. And, you know, Disney fans, Disney adults, whatever, they go nuts for it, right? And he said, yeah, so after I bought one for my cousin or whatever, I looked them up on eBay and saw that I can buy these, and they're like exclusive to this resort in Hawaii. I can buy these for $20, but on eBay they're going for like 60. And then he's like, yeah, so I bought like 20 of them and I flipped them on eBay, and I'm like, I've never felt more connected to somebody in my entire life right now than ever, because I still remember the times when I first lived with my brother in college, and I didn't have a job for the first couple of months. And I went and I bought, like, I basically flipped Funko Pops for like 2-3 months, or like flipped Heroclix for a few months. I'm like, wow, this truly rocks.
Been there, yo.
And then he just talked about like, oh yeah, and then I collect all these action figures and all this stuff. So we just talked about like collecting action figures. It like went from like training session, and we still worked out, but then it was just like, we were just talking about action figures, and I've felt such a deeper connection with this guy. This guy is just really cool dude. He like emulates video games.
It's always nice when that happens.
Yeah, we just connected on such a grounded level. And so what really made me happy was after the long holiday weekend of Memorial Day, got to see him again. I was like, oh, what's up, man? You ready to work out? And he's like, well, here you go. And then he gave me this exclusive Goofy figure. And like Goofy's like my favorite, I guess, Disney character, like Mickey Mouse and Friends type character.
Sure.
So I always liked Goofy. And so I was like, wow, this rocks. And then we like talked about action figures, talked about like different waves of Marvel Legends we collected, different Ninja Turtles, like all this stuff, and just had someone I could really like deeply connect with. Because usually when you're talking with a client, it's very much like, what can we possibly relate to? Not everybody is a nerd.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I have a lot of like older clients that really aren't into some of this stuff.
I got your base level stuff, right? So mine is always like, okay, investments, finance, football, basketball, whatever it is. That's the stuff where it's like, yeah, you know, I can get down. I can have that conversation.
Generic-y kind of people can all like it. It's not too hyper-specific interest.
You might meet that like true, like somebody who really knows ball. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is great. But most of the time it's like, oh yeah, I can't believe they, you know, won that game, whatever. And it's just very surface level. And every now and then you run into that person. Like I have this guy who visits every month or so, who's a big watch guy. And legitimately, every time I see him, he just like lights up. He's like, well, it's like, I've got some stuff to show you, you know? And I'm always like, yeah, man, that rocks.
So yeah, like finding someone that actually like has like a really close, tight, like hyper interest that we can just like chat about all day. It's like, dang, dude, you're not like a client. You're just like a buddy. You're like a friend.
It makes it so much easier.
This rules. And yeah, I don't have to like pretend I care about the Huskers with you, which is like 90% of people in Nebraska. Yeah, dude.
They don't care. You didn't see the game? No. And right now, like college baseball is going on. It's like, oh, you don't know about Daryl Rad, the best pitcher on. Why would I know that person?
No, I don't, dude.
You should have seen it. You know, it's like, okay, sure.
What do we have? We had like tennis playing. The French Open or something is on TV right now. They play courts, Ian. It's different than regular courts.
You could have told me that was the name of an athlete.
I know. Yeah, dude, right?
Courts.
And this guy was like, oh, I see you have tennis on TV. Do you like tennis? I'm like, nah, man, I just put whatever most popular sport is on right now, because we're in a gym. People want to watch a sport. Yeah. So that's what made me happy, talking about, you know, action figures, collecting, all that stuff, for sure.
But yeah,
I don't. I cannot stand sports. I really genuinely do not find it interesting. But
that's totally fair.
Most people do, and that's like pretty baseline. People like to, you know, root for.
It's an easy way to just make that initial connection. So, you know, if that's, you know, but so many like sports fans, quote unquote, I think are just like conversationalists for that reason.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's like, oh, what team do you have? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And the amount of times to get like, you work in the gym, you don't like sports. I'm like, I just like lifting. I just like moving my body, man. I just like working out. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not like.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not an athlete. I'm just like a guy, you know? All right, Ian, what made you happy this week, my man?
Yeah, well, I do have another comment on that in regards to just like flipping stuff. I don't want people to think I have like a poor relationship with my father by any stretch on this story. I just feel like with the way I'm phrasing it, it might sound bad.
You keep rolling.
Yeah. So, my dad was kind of always of the opinion that I'd grow out of Heroclix. And at times I had taken breaks and been like, yeah, I think I'm like done with it. And, Heroclix aren't exactly cheap, so he didn't love... My dad taught econ for like 35 years. Okay. So he didn't love seeing me just like blow my money on that. But guess what? It worked out, Dad. Again, great relationship with my father. But regarding flipping... One time I brought home a Crisis Superman, like holding the rock above his head. And, I was maybe like 11 or 12. And I was like, Dad, I want to put this on eBay. He's like, okay, I'll help you out with that. He's like, well, what do you think you're going to sell it for? I was like, probably like 100, 150. He's like, huh? And I was like, yeah, Dad. I was like, we're making plays. We're making moves. And he's like, really? He's like, for this. And he's like holding in his hand just like,
I'm holding $150 right now.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, that kind of turned the tides. And then I remember around War of Light, it was the same deal. Like I just was pulling insane. Pulled like 2 chases, like 5 super rares. Nice. Just absurd. So like week after week, I would just like come home and be like, yeah, this needs to go on eBay. He's like, whoa, what's this one worth? So that was, just, again, Dad's a great guy.
Just flipping.
His just faith in my Heroclix career was wavering at times, which, understandable. Mine was too. But no, I got to go see Shane Gillis this week, which was, dude, it was nuts.
That looks like a blast.
Like, so the CHI Center sits like 21,000 people, I think, and it was sold out. So like we get there and the line was like probably 30 people wide, and it's like, I don't know how many people
Shane
forward.
Gillis, that's a Nebraska level comedian right there.
Oh yeah, he was just ragging on Nebraska.
Dude. I bet he ripped. Oh.
So it was a lot of fun. I've seen Shane Gillis. I think this was my 3rd time seeing him, but I'd seen him in much more like intimate settings, like smaller. Like either like almost like basically like a small theater, and then there was like a larger, like kind of like the Orpheum around that size.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And both of those times it was just way better because he got to know the audience a bit more, got to go a little more off the rails and say some stuff that, maybe wouldn't be on like a Netflix special. So seeing comedy in an arena, it was very much just like playing the hits. So a lot of his material I had heard, and it was still fantastic. It was still very funny. But just as like a rule of thumb, comedy in an arena, I think if you can see him elsewhere, see him elsewhere. Like you'll get a deeper cut, more personal performance, as opposed to, I mean, he even acknowledged that he walked out to some music. He's like, I feel like a WWE star. I'm just gonna like tell some jokes. I think Shane is, even with like, he's probably one of the biggest comedians, if not like the biggest right now, just still very grounded. So if that's not your cup of tea, I get it, but I think he's solid. The other thing was that, with Champion Clicks, I mentioned it on the show, but, working with them has been a lot of fun. Putting everything together over like the last month or so, seeing it come together and just knowing that we've got, a big schedule for the summer. I can't talk about like all the details of it, but seeing that kind of roll together and knowing that we've got some really fun events with some really exciting stuff attached to it. Knowing that that's coming down the pipeline is a lot of fun. I'm hoping like next week I can share a bit more.
Heck yeah.
We'll see. It might be a couple weeks. But yeah, we've got our slated times. We've reached out to a lot of the venues. There's still a handful we need to get out to, but that also made me really happy. It's just cool to see all that come together. I love Heroclix. I don't know what to say.
It rocks.
But as far as events go, back on the discussion of nationals. Guys, if you have not been out to Columbus, again, as far as to resume the conversation on that, so Nationals at Gen Con, Kalder, I mean, you actually played in it more recently here.
I did, yeah.
Like tournament structure, like how did you feel about that?
The pod play was just way different, right?
It is.
Like the biggest thing at Gen Con we were fighting like how much space we can actually have. So it's got to be all these pre-qualifying rounds, and then you kind of get cut into these like pods and everything. Hopefully, like 4 people qualify from each pod, right? So then it becomes like really just a glorified like top 16 pseudo-ish. Yeah. So there's like the time, 64 players can basically play in it, but then some people can re-enter different pods, so it's not necessarily like a true. So that was always kind of muddy. And
because they're smaller pods too, another thing is that
gameplay changes
massively. Yeah. So because now it's score points.
It's instantly. I mean, to be fair, Heroclix is always, I guess, score points, but it's first and foremost it's win.
Yeah.
Right, which is way different, really, than score points. I mean, there was like some of the most fast and loose playing. I shouldn't really say loose. I played against very good players. Actually, it was not easy. I'll tell you that it was tough. I played against Josiah, freaking Nate White like twice. I played against like Sam Powell. Like,
yeah, those are some tight matches.
A ton of really tight matches. And a lot of teams that surprised me that I won against were very turtley teams. Some of them, but there was also like just a ton of.
This is like the Scarlet Witch era too. So people
Scarlet
like
Witch,
Rune Marker in the start,
Rune Marker in your starting area with Iron Inquisitor and everything, and just stay super safe. And it was really killer to be around like that kind of turtle tech. And then there's also just a ton of Prime Spider-Man. Obviously, Prime Spider-Man is legal at this point in time. Sicarian Iron Man is legal at this point in time. Like,
and he's legal again.
And he's
back.
Oh, baby. But yeah, so it was just either super heavy alpha or there was some really crazy turtle stuff that I play against. And it was just an incredibly, like, I don't know, halfway through the day, I felt like I was like shaking. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get these wins. I have to score points. You know, I'm sure if you could like go back and see a table of me playing, my leg would have been bouncing off the charts. Just like nerve-wracking, just like I gotta kill something, I gotta score points, like oh my gosh, gotta play fast. But overall, like I do miss the just a bunch of people, right? It's like 120 whatever people it was at Nationals in 2019, or just like how they do it at Worlds, where it's just 5 rounds then cut, you know, like a more
there's more opportunity
setting.
to like when you have a larger cut, even though it's a larger pool, I just think there's more opportunity for like different stuff as opposed to, well, I got to play like I think primarily like hyper aggressive team, because in smaller pods, you know, in pods of like 16 people, 4 people qualify, there's going to be some instances where, you know, maybe you went 3-1 and you didn't score enough, right?
Right.
So that makes it really tough. So I don't like that it promotes that style play, but ultimately I think the biggest thing is like space. Gen Con just really, it doesn't provide the space. And honestly, there's so many people at Gen Con. I love Gen Con, by the way. I had a great time. I've had a great time every time I've gone. But man, there's just so many people there that it's like hard to move. And the other thing with Gen Con too is that it ends so early. You know, we're done with Heroclix at like 6 p.m. So granted, you know, go enjoy the rest of the con, everything like that. But I'm going to Gen Con for Heroclix, you know.
Right.
I'm going here. I want to see the fan appreciation.
I went to Gen Con also in like 2019 and then 2021 or whenever they had it, you know, post COVID. And I love Heroclix. I mean, first and foremost, obviously, that's like bread and butter, favorite game of all time, favorite like kind of thing of all time.
Yeah,
you know? Like really.
Yeah.
But like I was definitely like I super enjoyed going to Gen Con in 2019. I just did a bunch of cosplay. I did a lot of the pin collecting, a lot of the pin trading. I bought, I mean, some of my family's favorite board games that we played. Terror Below, the Trogdor game. I bought like a ton of different like board games at Gen Con that year that we still play every single year, like when we get together. So by no means do I want it to sound like poo-pooing on Gen Con, because I still like kind of want to
I'm not trying to do that
absolutely. I still want to like find an excuse to like go to Gen Con, even though Heroclix isn't there this year and it doesn't really make as much sense because it's genuinely that much fun. But it's crowded. Yeah. Like, holy smokes, is it crowded. And you really can't play Heroclix in that environment with, like, how few tables they have. At Origins, at least how it was, probably when we went, it's relatively the same. They're in that kind of side room, and they have just a ton of space. I just remember thinking,
you know, maybe there's, like, still something there. It's just in the event postings, like, we haven't seen anything from them. So I don't know. I mean,
that's true. But like with Nationals being at Origins,
it's a good assumption to make.
Yeah, I just like the Nationals tournament was at Gen Con.
Yeah,
they moved it to Origins.
So
I kind of feel
there's nothing on Gen Con. I imagine there's probably not much there.
I feel like maybe sure there's probably a WizKids booth or something, right? I don't know, but like
there's nothing. There's events.
There's events at Origins.
Yeah, there's events at Origins.
I guess that's what I'd roll with. I love the space, especially like the big WizKids ball. I assume they always had that at Origins. They had it like the 2 years I went. I only went in 2018, 2019.
Like the ball, like a physical ball?
It's a giant like
sphere. The big dance.
No, no, like an actual like blow up ball that like hung above their booth.
Oh sure, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like I think that was always great. It was like WizKids. It was like white and yellow or whatever. It said WizKids on it, and there's like, yep, that's the WizKids booth. And I mean, there was probably 50-something tables. I don't know how many tables it would have been, but it felt like a long row of tables.
Oh, it was massive, man.
Origins, yeah. It felt like a really good amount of space. A ton of BR space, like a ton for like modern and teams. Like again, like teams had, it was like 70 teams, 68, something like that. So like 180 something players in 2019, like an insane turnout.
I mean, teams is just It's the best.
Oh, it rules.
It's one of the most fun events. I mean, especially when you're working, again, with that brick, I just feel like you have... It's just the best sealed format in my mind.
Oh.
It's the most fun to build because you got your buddies, and then you almost always, not 100% of the time, but close, have a shot of making something happen. You know, there's obviously going to be the people who, like, pull insane, but it's like with that much variance across that many people with that many bricks... And then again, a brick is bound to have like some good stuff. Like very rarely do you just get like a complete dud brick. And then you even look, a couple of years ago when Notorious was like the world set, it's like rare Saturn Queen at like 100. Something that nobody was playing ended up like taking it all. And there was a million ways that people were cutting the cake on like Gotham City Underworld or like assassin teams. Everyone did it differently. So I think there's just a lot more skill expression in the actual sealed building when you have a bigger pool to work with. It's not exactly profound to say, but it's just, cool.
Yeah, you have more choices, more options.
And playing with your buddies. There's nothing better, when you're in it together, when you're in the trenches, the plastic trenches together.
That's how it feels, some of those team seals.
Yeah.
So, at the last Gen or Origins, I got top 16.
Nice.
Or maybe did we get top 8? I can't remember. I know when it got really close, we beat Simeon's team. I will say this. I did not beat Simeon. I lost my game against Simeon. But my teammates beat Simeon's teammates. That's all that matters. So, like, we beat, like, Simeon's team.
Get wrecked, Simeon.
To get into, get wrecked, Simeon. What was that? Oh, I can't hear you now on the podcast anymore. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh, funny how that works.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
But anyways.
You decided to do other things with your life.
And now you're getting owned.
And now you're getting owned
in your
on
face,
your previous show. Yeah, somebody clip that.
They already have.
They already have.
Simeon probably watched it and was like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Anyways, I'm going to go eat at a gas station, I guess.
Never hanging up a Dial H sign again.
I'm going to go hang up a Sonic sign. Got a Sonic
I'm going to go skip into a Casey's and get a slice of pizza.
Oh, yippee, Casey's
yippee,
pizza.
Yeah, yippee. I'm excited.
That's about the level of excitement I've seen Simeon's voice top out at. Also.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
As far as excitement goes, that's about where it ends. But, if you want to argue something completely erroneous.
No, I know.
Then that's where Simeon's heart comes out. Is like, let's talk about, I don't even have a stupid example.
But, I don't have a specific example, but I can think of like 30 times this has happened.
They were at Simeon and I are like, all right, dumbest thing ever. Yeah, I'll lock horns with you.
Actually, I can think of like several right now. I don't even want to say any of them, but yeah.
Remember there was one where we were talking about like console versus like game sales. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, about like the market structure of like how like the price point they decide for the console based on like, well, this is what games sell for, they expect X, Y, Z. And we were just going back, how could you believe that? And then by the end of it, we're both just like, dude, that was so dumb.
Was it like
the best one?
You guys talked about
the best one easily. We were actually recording, I believe, episode 500, and we got really into it about how like Simeon was saying that like Merlin is just like Spider-Man.
Oh, jeez, no, dude, I wanted to leave the room. I wanted anything to get me out of this room.
I was just like, no way,
he's
dude.
Not.
Yeah,
Simeon, he really isn't though.
Well, like that again. Like I don't know, maybe an hour later, he's like, I don't even know. He's like, I don't even play Merlin. I don't know why I was dying on that
so
hill.
Funny.
I was like, well, that's why. I mean, honestly, that's why we're such good friends. It's because you're willing to stand on that ground.
Yeah.
I love that. I love doing it too. I mean, I'm sure there's been times where I've been the Merlin. I know there's been times I've been the Merlin.
The Merlin?
Yeah,
That's such
the Merlin in the 76, dude.
In the blind, like.
Anyway.
For it. Yeah.
Love you, Simeon.
Jeez, all I'm doing is like thinking of all the times this has happened, and I'm like,
and Calder's also never a part of this. It was always just like, Simeon and I.
Never.
And I don't think Simeon and I ever actually argued about anything. There was a few times where I
interjected one or two things, but I don't think.
And we're basically both just like, shut up, Calder.
Well, you kind of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But anytime it was something important, we're like, oh yeah, no, let's level on this. No, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very rare. I don't think ever, like legitimately, was I ever like, I strongly disagree with you and this is going to cause an issue with Dial H. It was always like, oh yeah, we can get past that. But it's like, oh, I'm sorry. You think that like a goose is superior to a duck? In what way? Were you born yesterday? Like that would get us both going. And then it's like, I'm
you
marching
don't
up this hill.
ducks.
You don't understand ducks at all.
You don't understand ducks at all. Like,
you've never seen a duck in your life, mister. Are you breadcrumbing me?
Are you
Anyway,
Jeez.
guys.
Hey, so the events at Origins are pretty cool. We have a lot of Heroclix Learn to Plays, a lot of Heroclix Battle Royales. I really like the Supercharged sealed events. These are always pretty dang cool. So it's going to be two, most recent Marvel Heroclix sets. So it's probably going to be Spider-Man and Smash and Destroy. And then it's going to be like a 400-point team. You get a retail chase booster. Really cool, really fun. It's made out of like 3 boosters. I'm a big fan. I always liked it. So 2 of the latest set, 1 of like an older Marvel set, or like then I guess not as recent Marvel set.
But yeah, $56 buy-in for 3 packs and then solid prizing. That's worth it all day. I mean, the Supercharged sealeds at like Adepticon, when they first introduced that format, like fantastic.
Oh, dude, oh my gosh.
Wish I would have signed up for more.
I loved jamming through them. There's also a lot of Heroclix like 300 Modern tournaments just throughout the weekend, and they're all for chase boosters, which is really cool. A great way to practice 300 Modern. If that's your thing, if you're there for Modern, you're there for the big Nationals event, and you just want to play more Modern to get more reps in, these are perfect.
Maybe
for you.
test out something wackier.
Test out some tech.
Play that Assassin's build. Play the chase patch. Put the chase patch on your team. Don't put it back in your box.
Put the chase patch on your... No. Hey. Put them on your team.
Come on. Give it a go. So, yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
There's the Heroclix Chase Booster Team Sealed Championship, which is really cool. It's the 3-player team sealed with some extra spice. Each team of 3 will receive a brick and of the most recent Heroclix set and a retail chase booster from another set to build their teams. Play 4 to 5 rounds of Swiss based on the number. We'll cut to top 4. So this is how they're doing team sealed this year. Crazy cool. I love it. It does say plus a retail chase booster from another set to build their teams. So I don't think it necessarily means like, okay, we're all playing Smash and Destroy. We all get a Smash and Destroy chase booster. Mm-hmm. I think the chase booster could have a little bit more fluid, it could be a little more,
well,
spice.
Like
I don't know.
they said.
For lack of,
So with
spice,
that,
dude.
I mean, I'd be interested to see if it was like from a different set, meaning that they're all different, or from a different set than the brick.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, okay, so next phase is the set that kicked off
Chase Boosters.
Boosters. So that's like as far back as it could possibly go. I feel like that would be a rough Chase Booster to get.
I feel like literally unless you get Kevin.
I suppose getting Conchu, but even then, it's like, that's how...
It's not really what you want to, like, push your team over the edge or, like, build around something.
I'll take a Smash and Destroy. I'll take a Collector's Trove Chase Booster. Probably Collector's Trove is number
Chase
1.
Booster, I think, has to be number 1. If you get Collector...
Yeah. Wow. You get that Thanos... Well, Thanos
Steamrolls
is not that great. I mean, like, Doctor Doom is very nice, I feel like. And if the brick...
You get, like, Black Panther, you play a Tomb.
Yeah, probably.
Like, possibility.
I mean... It's just okay. So, well, let's talk about all the events and then let's talk about sealed. So the cost on this one is $242. So that is the brick plus the chase booster. I mean the bystanders too. Gosh, that could be kind of fun.
Dude, that really could.
There's probably some crazy ones that you can toss in there. There's obviously the U.S. National Championship guys, which compete against the best players from across the country for the title of Heroclix 2025 U.S. National Champion. The tournament's 300-point Modern, nothing new there. Played over a number of Swiss rounds based on participation numbers. And then top 16, so a cut to 16, returns on Sunday morning for single elimination playoffs for the title. Buy-in here is $34. I'm expecting a pretty high turnout for this whole event.
Currently, what does it say? 80 tickets are available out of 128, so there's currently 48 people signed up right now for the U.S.
Well, we know,
National
I mean, I'm the same boat, guys. Like, I wait.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of last minute. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
People will turn out for this, and I'm really excited because I think there's been a lot of new additions to Modern. I mean, Florida, just going back to that, was just such a surprise for so many people, I feel like. People after the fact can pretend that they weren't surprised by it, but ultimately these are things you lost to, so you're at least a little surprised. Huntington's definitely introduced some new stuff, and now Smash and Destroy being legal, I think there's honestly quite a bit of stuff in there to really shake things up, or at least modify existing things. The Destroyer armor is huge. really excited to see what people are putting that on. I think Freya, the Chase, I think she's a lot better than people are giving her credit for. I want to see if somebody's going to pilot Magneto effectively.
That'd be surprised.
But the biggest thing is, like, I hope somebody just provides the proof that Captain America, you should have never questioned. Not that, like, so many people were, but I was just surprised by, like, kind of, you know, again, the podcast sphere.
But to not see it.
Yeah.
To not at least admit that there's value there. That's what
this guy's going to go nuts, dude.
Like, to not look at that and be like, oh, yeah, that's meta. That's, like, very, very viable.
And maybe we're just too surface level these days. Maybe we don't see these smaller interactions. And granted, you know, don't practice like I used to in the sense of, like, intense meta reps.
Niche stuff that goes on, but, like, for the price point, you kind of see, like, free attacks, stop clicks, either safety or very offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Seems
you don't have to sell me.
Like,
you don't have to sell me. So,
you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Biggest thing coming out of Modern for me, for new U.S. Nationals, 100% is I hope somebody stands on business with Captain America. Yeah, so it's like,
bashing.
And that's not to, like, prove anybody wrong, but more so for my own sanity. It's like, am I losing it? Is my gauging bad?
Okay, if somebody wins a Prime Dr. Octopus, how are you going to feel?
Dude.
Wake me up. This can't be real.
I don't even... If somebody does that...
Yeah. Or like places like, you know, top 16.
One, you're going to come on the show. And you're going to explain. We're going to reference direct things I've said and how I was horribly wrong. I'll hook you up with some... I don't even know. Like, we'll figure something out.
A couple of Starro fights at least.
Yeah, a couple.
At least hook you up with...
I don't know what it would be, but yeah, I would give you some form of Dial H prize if you win U.S. Nationals with the Prime Doc Ock. That'd be the most baller thing you could do.
Oh, it'd be so sick.
I still do love that figure. He just, you know, he exists in that weird world of I don't think he's quite competitive enough. I think he's a little too nasty for casual, but you know, it seems like other people are enjoying him. I love his sculpt too. Just really like that figure. And it's funny because I initially hated it.
Oh, that's why the turnaround is so good. You were like, dude, what? This figure's garbage, blah, blah, blah.
I was like, how is this a Prime?
I still don't particularly... It's not for me, that's for sure, but...
If you would have played him in Sealed, maybe you would have had a change of heart.
Maybe if I would have played anything else in Sealed, I would have had a change of heart. I don't want to talk about Spider-Man. I don't want to talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, we don't have to.
We're good. I'm good.
There's also, though, called the Silver Age Origins Championship.
Oh,
yes. You know, now we're seeing Silver Age pushed in a I think, more robust fashion. I think the changes they made this year to make it Highlander really support the format. I think it makes it better. This is also 400 points, so it's the same thing we saw at Huntington's here. And this one is going to be 6 rounds of Swiss, which is quite a bit. 6
rounds cut top 8.
And then, top 8 cut. So all participants will receive prizing. But man, a 6-round Swiss into top 8.
From 10 a.m. to 7:50 p.m. Hot dog.
That's a brutal place to get 9th place in.
Oh, yeah.
To do 6 rounds and finish 9th, that's brutal. It is capped at 48 people, though.
Yep.
So, you know, there's
17 more spaces left. Oh, no, that's a lie. 17 spaces are full. 31 torn tickets available. I read that backwards.
There you go.
Get in there if you want your silver goodness.
It's just, man, a quick aside on just silver as a whole. I'm liking it more, but man, it is still just a daunting thing.
Seeing the teams this year, I like them a lot more than the teams last year.
Yes.
I'll definitely say that. I'm seeing a little more creativity. I'm seeing that like more things are viable in silver.
Mm-hmm.
It feels less. I hate to say the word solved, but it does feel less solved.
Oh, 100%.
Lucas was just steamrolling people last year, so it feels healthier. It feels like it's a healthier spot. So I'm always going to pay close attention, or I shouldn't say close attention. I'm always going to kind of pay attention to how silver is developing.
There's just a lot of things I want to play. There are a lot of things that I want to play in silver, but I think the biggest thing, and you know, some people would probably just say, well, suck it up. It's a little harder to do than that, I guess, for me. The biggest thing is there's just that anxiety in silver where it's like, okay, you know, this feels like pretty solid. These are things I want to play. And ultimately, that should be the way you play. I'll preach that to the day I die. Play the things you want to play the way you want to play. But in silver especially, where it's like, you know, you just have this massive catalog, there's that overhanging feeling of, man, what am I not accounting for? You know, what am I going to sit across from that is just going to absolutely dust me. And part of me is like, I can't sit with that. I don't like that. I don't like that there's,
takes me back
just such an abusable outlook on Silver. I know Modern's the same way,
it really
but
takes me back when I first started playing Heroclix and like didn't fully understand Modern. Like was like playing tournaments, and like I would sit down across or something. I'm like, I feel like you're gonna really beat me this game, but I don't know how you're gonna do it. Like the first time I played against Unimind, I was like, oh, it's the little green booger thing, and then you just get dusted. And you're like,
it's like, I just took 8 damage,
cool,
from 14 away.
Never mind, I guess. Dang,
So
that's kind of just how Silver perpetually feels. It's just like
there's that level of like, there's something I don't understand that is just going to nuke me, and I don't know if I'll ever like fully get over that. And to those people,
maybe you gotta really embrace it. Be like, all right. Oh,
I think there's a level of that you have to do, and man, that's a leap. Like immediately in Silver, my mind is just going to like, I love the shifting focus, Dr. Dooms. I like the Masters of Evil 2. I was going to say them before Dooms, but they're also banned right now. I love Sicarian Iron Man. I think for competitive figures, he's like a top 2, top 3 for me.
Yeah.
He's just so bread and butter. I love the rings. Like, even without the stop sign existing, they're just a lot of fun to use. The Iron Spider Prime is always fun to build around. The A60 handout wildcard Spider-Man. There's so many fun things that you can revisit. And then way older stuff like map bonuses. But then where my mind also drifts to is like the stuff that I just truly dreaded playing against, like the super rare Blackheart, right? Just like, and just things like that.
Yeah.
Colossal Retail. Gosh.
Stuff is just so killer.
So, all of that to say, I am excited to see Silver continue to grow. And even though I am not directly supporting it with my own playing, my own building, I still haven't really talked about building Silver just because, like, again, I personally just still feel very overwhelmed building for it.
Yeah.
Because in Modern, I can think about things where it's like, okay, I've accounted for this. This is on the field. And, I'm always accepting there's probably like 5-10% of things like I don't understand, I don't expect. And I'm happy with that window. With Silver, it feels closer to like 60 or 70.
Right.
And
the unknown is too vast.
The unknown is way too vast. And that, if you think about it that way, maybe this is just the wrong thing to promote, but this is just how I feel. Like, is that, just kind of how a new player always feels. And if you're in that mindset, what are things that you can do to help them change that?
And should you let that stop you from playing the game?
You shouldn't let it stop you.
Yeah, there it is.
I think, there's still a lot of room for Silver to grow, and that's not going to happen if people don't play it. So I'm never going to like not support the format.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But as far as like me personally playing goes, I'm just much more interested in discovering and exploring like the Modern format, even the pulp format. Like I'm more interested in, that's just my personal stance. I don't want anyone to think like, oh, this is coming out of like hate towards anything. It's too much for me. Which I'll just admit, that's it. That's probably what it is. It's just too much. Anyway, Silver Age Championship will be really cool. I always love looking at people's builds. I already shouted him out on the last episode.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But like John Michael DiGiulio just playing Kang because he liked him. I probably just need to go have him be like my Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, dude.
Kang on, Kang off, and eventually I'll be ready for the tournament.
That's how I played Heroes Forever. I play Captain America because I like him.
I mean, I played Batman because I like him too.
Exactly. See, yeah.
So that's
we've both done well with like our flagship characters, right?
Yeah.
I still remember like going into nationals, you being like, you really should play Maggot on this team, dude. And I was just so
could have been the difference maker.
Insistent. I don't know about that, but I was.
It was so much more damage.
I was very insistent on like, I have to play the legacy card Captain America from Empire. I got to play my boy, and I
respect it,
and man. I still stand by that.
I stand by with you on that.
I do love that he was like, yeah, I want to play Kang, who I've got to say at first look, I'm like, I don't really see
everyone's scratching their heads.
Oh yeah,
like, how?
It's like,
why?
All right,
but that's probably the way it just needs to be. And, maybe that's just me being like, oh, I need to optimize this more and blah, blah, blah. Why?
Sometimes you got to get back to your roots and just be like,
I think I need to get back to my roots.
Characters. I just want to play my favorite dude.
I got to do it. All that to say, I think that's just like, that's what it is. So maybe if you're having these similar feelings that I have towards Silver, hey, message me. Maybe we jump ship together. Maybe Gotta dive into silver.
What do we do? How do we?
I think part of it too, though, is like the 400 points, where I think no matter what format you're in, there's a level of min-maxing that you want to obtain.
Yeah.
Again, making it Highlander, I think, definitely lessens that load.
It's huge. Massively.
But there's still that level of min-maxing that you want to obtain, and it's always like, 400 is just a lot more things. It's a lot harder to do. But I genuinely am excited to see what people bring back. I hope the Shifting Dooms have some kind of appearance. I hope somebody finds some way to bend some keywords, make them useful again, because, I do love them.
It's crazy, like, what was it, like this 2021, right? That's when they came out. So when they came out, you were just like, dude, this is so insane for 75 points. And like nowadays, you're like, I don't know if they quite do enough for 75. Which
I hope they can make it.
Nuts, dude. Yeah, like, I hope they're still viable. You know,
6-arm Doom's effect has to still be good enough for 75 points.
Oh, all caps Doom.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
It has to be, right?
You would think limiting action total is just very, very good. And it's an option, too.
It's got to be, yeah.
The other aspect that I really like just on Shifting Doom very quickly is, and I never thought he got enough play, was like the Doctor Strange version.
You don't think he got enough play?
Not really.
Oh,
not in the same level that like Lord Doom and 6-arm Doom did. Or sorry, all caps Doom. However you'd like to phrase
I always
sir.
call them all as
Robot Doom. That guy has so many nicknames.
Not even an MF Doom fan. I always called him all caps Doom.
All caps.
Because his name is literally just Doom, right?
Yeah. So he's got the damage special, right? Where it's like you get to re-roll an attack from anyone every turn. Dude. He's got 8 range on that. Good. I want to figure out a way in 400 points to make just like a team that makes an absurd amount of attacks in the same way like that Construct Alpha Strike team did, where it was just chainsaw, and then just having like a reroll on all of those. It's like, is that good enough? I don't know, but I'd get to play a bunch of the stuff I like. So again, revisiting the point of that's probably just what I need to do. Get off the soapbox, you know?
Yeah.
But how about we pivot into a little like sealed discussion? Like, how do we feel about Smash and Destroy kind of being the origin set?
I love Smash and Destroy as a sealed set. It really does. Just genuinely, besides like Destroyer, there really is like no sealed bomb. You know.
Wow. Yeah. If Destroyer, okay. Ooh.
And you can always say the chases to some extent, right? Like, yeah, sure, Captain America, Magneto. But even then, it doesn't feel bad playing against this Magneto. It really doesn't feel too bad playing against Juggernaut or Hulk, if I'm being honest. Juggernaut's a little tough in sealed, I won't lie. But
he's definitely harder to crack than Hulk, but I would agree. Yeah. Like, I don't look at that dial and go, oh, that's just...
It doesn't feel like
not
this
Destroyer.
Impossible. Yeah, oh, yeah. So really, genuinely, besides Destroyer, like, I don't feel too bad about playing this sealed, and I really, really enjoy it. It's not... And, well, number one, like, the bread and, like, what you have, your building blocks in sealed are your commons and uncommons. And that's where a majority of, like, the prob control is. Thori is, I wish every sealed set had a Thori, basically. I wish there's always kind of that one common piece that you're like, this is, like, the best common I can pull. You know, in BTAS, it was getting, like,
why did Terry... Yeah, dude, Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis, yeah, dude. When you pulled him, you're like, oh, this running shot pen.
Remember when Simeon, we're revisiting this, remember when Simeon pulled 2?
Oh, dude, that was such bullshit. Okay, we got a little carried away.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry.
But man, there's always the common or uncommon bomb.
And that's good.
Yeah,
it really is good to have a attainable figure for most players to be able to play with. Now, I think it's Thori. I think you can just so clearly be like, this is a close combat, heavy set. It's got Empower. Dude's charge flurry. Dude can get +1 attack. It can just be like a 13.
I really like Speedball, too.
I think Speedball's amazing. I think some people have like disagreed with Speedball and his use in sealed if you don't pull Lenny. I think even without Lenny, I still think he's really good.
I think Sand, too.
I love Sand.
I think Sand is a really good uncommon. Man, even
Quicksand.
Quicksand, sorry.
I think she's awesome. At 60 point, I've played her at 60 a few times. I really enjoy her.
I think she's a really good pull for that. Man, another one is Primus.
Yeah.
I think he's solid enough.
Legit.
It's just hard because I think one of the biggest things you have to look at is like, are you dealing damage through reducers? And if you're not, do you have outwit to get through reducers? Do you have pen damage?
There's not a ton of penetrating damage like we
there's not
in this set, which is why, even though it feels crazy for 60 points, but I do like this uncommon Scarlet Witch just because she is like an 11 attack pen type. She's got like 2 damage. You know?
A sidestep flyer, a barrier, a prob is really nice.
Mystics.
Yeah.
You know, she actually has a decent amount of stuff in her kit that I don't mind, especially since there is actually a lot of cheap shield in this set. Lenny Ballinger, again, brings 2 shields with him, so really good. I think Zax is gnarly. Just
I like him.
19 impervious. He's got a perplex. He's a 12 pull. You can just like pop him in the middle of somebody's team and be like, deal with me. Perplexed up. I'm a 20 defense right now.
And he's got the traded poison too.
Yeah.
Which like again, with reducers, is only going to get you so far. But I do think that this, as far as sealed sets go, sans one figure, is one of the best we have. And
absolutely.
Calder, other show I should say, like Scott Crampton.
Wow, there it is.
Why,
other shows. Well,
I was like, why am I being cryptic about this?
Scott Crampton said that. I love there's the way.
I was like, okay, no, this is dumb. I don't know why I can't say that. We're another show. I guess that's why you just whatever.
I guess.
Doesn't matter. So a big thing going into Huntington's was Scott Crampton, not Porter, was saying that we should limit Destroyer to his mid-dial line because Destroyer will win it all. He did. 3 of the top 4 teams were Destroyer at 270. And I wouldn't continue this discussion if I didn't think it was worthwhile.
Sure.
I am of the opinion that Destroyer at 270 should be off limits. I think if you pull Destroyer, that's already enough of a win. I also think he is still very, very good at 150. But at 270, the reality that they pointed out is like even without a sideline, his special ability allows him to, once per turn, when Destroyer hits, after resolutions, you may choose a character chosen for its pilot trait. If you do, give Destroyer any action is free, and it can use the standard powers displayed on the dial. Blah, blah, blah. You don't even need something on your sideline, Calder, because what you can do is you can just hypersonic in, and you're a giant, so you're getting around just about anywhere.
Okay.
Shoot somebody 13-5, free action, hypersonic again, shoot somebody 13-5, and then just run away. So it's like, I think a lot of people on the other side of the argument were saying like, oh, well, you can just lock in with him and then maybe have a good chance of winning. But if you're on a map like Brock's Bunker, where I'm very mobile because, again, I'm a giant, I'm a flyer, if I come up to your team and just hit you for 10, or maybe if I only make one attack, I hit you for 5, you are immediately on a timer. I've got Impervious Reduced Pen that can't be outwitted. I've got Shape Change. If anything remotely goes my way, and even if I take like a couple clicks of damage, there's still a good chance that I'm hitting a 3/6 willpower. I'm hypersonic again. It's just very unrealistic, I think, for this Destroyer to be taken down by a majority of the set. I'm not saying he can't lose, but I think if Destroyer is not limited in this sealed format, we will see very similar results to Heroclix for Huntington's. And I think that's a bummer. Because overall, like we're saying, like this is a great sealed set.
Yeah.
The chases don't feel like, bummers to play against, which that's rare, but they're also still very fun to play.
They feel great to pull and play. They all are very like thematic, fun chases, but none of them feel.
Nothing's going to be like, oh wow, you win the tournament.
Like pay to win, or like you lucked out. You got the.
It's not like pulling Cathan and Wheels of Vengeance.
Oh right, yeah, no, it doesn't just feel like I lose this game.
Yeah,
like.
And there were some upsets there.
Yeah.
But even Cathan, comparably to Destroyer, it's like Cathan's attacking one time. I think the real thing that puts Destroyer over the edge, sans mobility, is he's double tapping. Yeah. So, turn 1, he could quite literally just delete like your best piece. And there's just not really anything else in the set that goes toe-to-toe with it. So my hope is that there is some kind of limitation there. Like, I'd really like to see Destroyer limited to a half line, and I know that's like unprecedented. Like, I don't think they've ever done that for a sealed environment anywhere.
I don't think in a sealed environment, nothing outside of like battle royales have I ever seen that. Yeah.
So, oh yeah, true. Like with the 2x2s, it's like, oh, you can only play them so high.
You can only play, it couldn't be above like 150 or something.
But I really do think that, and ultimately still could be wrong. I think we have the results to kind of prove it with Huntington's. Yeah. I think it's worth taking a chance on. So if anybody at WizKids who's making this decision is listening to that, maybe have a discussion on it, gauge your players on it, and see, and then mill over the results of Huntington's and decide if that should be done. I think overall you'd have a healthier, more fun Smash and Destroy sealed environment. And with how much Smash and Destroy sealed is being played at Origins, I just want to say I think it's the right call. And I think it's important enough to say, with this being such a big event and so many sealed events happening again,
Yeah.
this is probably the thing to limit.
Like a bummer. Like I would hate to be there and just be like, well, yeah, of course I lost. They had Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like, of course Destroyer won. I don't want everybody at home just be like, oh yeah, of course Destroyer won.
I think the biggest argument against it too, at least from what I heard, and I put a good amount of thought to it. Like what's proposed is like, well, what if you're the person who pulled Destroyer? And I think if I'm the person who pulled Destroyer, I don't really want to be the person who's just playing one figure and mowing people over anyway.
Yeah, it's actually not very fun.
It's not. When it's like, oh, I see that you have things I can just delete instantly. In the same way where it's like, even in Wheels of Vengeance, like, I don't want to be the Chthon player. Somebody else can, that's fine. I'm happy, hey, we got our free win or whatever.
Right.
But the fact that it's deemed that way, like, that kind of sucks. So
it's not.
I think it may be worth to at least consider, to at least maybe acknowledge it and say like, hey, with just the volume of this is a problematic element in sealed. I don't know. I'd be curious to see community talk on this. Maybe even worth starting a thread on this. Like, should this be limited? And if people could stay civil, a big ask. I know.
An insane ask.
Insane ask. And that's not a knock against anyone specific. Just in general, I think threads can spiral out of control. But I would like to hear people's thoughts on that, because I do think that overall you would get a healthier environment if that was the case. But outside of that, smash and destroy. Very, very solid.
I seriously, once again, I think decent amount of prob here and there. It's a little tough, but it's in the common slot, so like the powers you're looking for, there's a lot of good common and power enhancement, some outwit, not a crazy amount of TK, so it's not this hyper mobile set. It feels kind of like older school Heroclix. There's no insane mobilizer.
Well, with so many reducers.
A lot of reducers. So
and not a lot of pen damage.
You're not out right away, which is
you
also
lock
so
in.
nice. You lock in, you kind of meet in the middle, you start bashing. It feels like kind of old school Heroclix where you meet in the middle, you start throwing hands, and you kind of see who wins, and it rocks.
Yeah.
And so, I've definitely seen games swing. This is the biggest thing ever, where to me, if a sealed set is good, if I feel like, oh yeah, I'm winning this game, and then think, oh dang, I'm losing this game, and then go, oh no, okay, yeah, I'm winning this game.
I'm back.
Even if it's the other way, even if it's like, oh dude, I'm losing this game. Oh, I'm winning. Oh, never mind, I'm losing this game. Or oh, I'm winning. If there's a really good back and forth, that's a great sealed set.
That is, yeah.
If some dice rolls can really swing it, if it doesn't feel like a stomp out, feels like a really good fight, perfect sealed set to me.
And when that doesn't happen because of rollouts, that's better, right?
Yes, correct. As long
when
as
things are
senses,
hitting and living.
Yes, hitting and living, maybe healing, all of these things. But yeah, not because of rollouts. I'm looking just really quickly. I was looking at what does Destroyer have? He's got Impervious and battle and shape change, right? So,
and reduce pen.
And it reduces pen. So I was going to see if there's literally any Battle Fury Precision Strike in Smash and Destroy, and there is. It's Captain America's 7th click. That's the only Battle Fury Precision Strike in this entire set.
So he's the guy who's guaranteed getting through very situationally.
Very situationally, right? It's like Hawkeye is a great one, but once again, no Battle Fury, so he can't ignore shape change.
And that guy's going to die.
Yeah, Hawkeye's going to get nuked. Captain America has the best chance, and that's literally he has on his.
But he probably doesn't have the mobility to get to Destroyer.
No, not when you can hypersonic twice.
And when it's like, okay, well maybe TK can get you there. I'll kill your TK.
Yeah.
I will delete key your TK. So
it doesn't really feel like there's a great counter to Destroyer. None of these guys make enough attacks. Again, only if a shape change is missed does Chase, Captain America really have a good shot against Destroyer. But Primus, Hawkeye, and Fluppy are your top dial precision strikes in this set.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild.
And it's also just a 20, by the way.
Yeah. Also,
and what's crazy about this, is that this is not a new concept at all. You look at Huntington's prior years, like War of the Realms, it was Iron Allfather that won it all.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone is particularly surprised by that. So if it is boiled down to, in a lot of regards, did you pull the 300-point one-man army, and then history shows you're very likely to win the event. Yeah, because I score 30 points, I can just run away the rest of the game.
Yeah. And I've
worst matches ever.
Oh, easily the worst. People that do it's just like, I guess, sure, I don't blame you, but this is not fun to play against.
No, it's not.
Awful Heroclix.
It's the correct way to play. I'm not here to debate that.
Sure. Yeah. Like running away like a little baby is technically the correct way to play in that scenario.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not chill. It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not at all. So I think we are at a point now where it is worth it to try limiting this, rein this in, because it really is just this one piece. And outside of that, like you've said, this is a set where it's like it's meat in the middle, it's bash, it's old school. I think you'll just have, I've said it already, you'll have a much better experience. And initially, I was completely against this, I should also add.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, you should limit it. It's like, no, play what you pull. But then looking at results and also just understanding that, wow, it really is just a double hypersonic. So in totality, you are in essentially an 18 movement, 13 for 5 twice with I can get around the map very easily. And then you look at the rest of the mobility of the set, it's just there's nothing near that.
So, I'm just looking at him for 150. Still really good. Yeah, like still great.
Still great. I would play that.
So
for 150, absolutely, I would play that.
And stuff being built around this guy, totally.
So
I think I'm pro on your camp. I honestly was not really aware that this was like an issue or a point anyone was trying to make. Just don't really listen. Just being honest. But
that's fair.
Now that I'm like looking at it and seeing it, and then I've like known about the results from Huntington, so I was like, yeah, Destroyer's dominant. Shocker. Yeah, I would be kind of pro. Let this guy only be played at 150.
And I want to make it very clear that all of this is not brought up to like stir the pot and, witch hunt anything or, hey, you have to do it this way. I'm just saying I think history has shown us enough to where we should consider doing this. Not even that we should do it, but just let's weigh it. Let's look at results.
Yeah.
How often does the one-man army win? Even in team events, how often does the one-man army, is that on the winning team event? Like, again, you just score like 10 points, and then your only thing that you have to do is not die. And in a sealed environment where everyone else is like fighting for scraps, really, a majority of it, you're fighting for scraps. It's a bummer to have to go against that.
There's a lot of times in sealed where it's like, okay, you open your 2 boosters and you're like, it's not much. I can try to work with it though. I can see what I can put together. And sometimes you actually like can impress yourself. Other times you're like, yeah, man, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. I lost all my games.
Yeah.
Type of deal. So that's kind of the nature of sealed. And so it really does feel bad when it's like, yeah, I'm the guy that tried to, make
anything happen.
Make anything work. Try to put, I'm making, sticks and stones here. I'm trying to make a house that the wolf
fighting against a tank.
And it's just like, what is that? Oh, it's an M1A1 rocket. Like, oh, cool, I'm done for.
Remember that old Flash game, Age of War?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but there are 5 civilizations ahead of you, dude. Destroyer is like the future soldiers, and you're throwing stones at it. Maybe you're a little lucky. You're pouring hot oil on them. The tar or whatever. That's what Destroyer is. He's like 5 civilizations ahead here. It's like, what if you roll poorly, Ian? Come on.
I got 13 attack.
If you got 5 people who pull Destroyer, you're hoping they're all botching all game. Come on.
That's tough. That's a big ask.
I don't think there's anything on the level of this. And I think in general, I would be okay with just a limiter on, hey, we recognize that this piece will probably be problematic and sealed. Keep making figures like this. I don't have any problem with these figures existing.
No, but in a sealed environment,
I do have a problem with them existing. So, guys, honestly, give your thoughts on this. I'm sure you guys have messaged Critical Clicks to a degree on this, but I'd be interested to hear where you stand on it as well. Anyone who played in Huntington's as well, you obviously have more experience.
Yeah, please let us know.
If you had to go against a Destroyer, how was that? Did it feel like just an immediate end of the line? Do the results that we're seeing reflect the experience that you had? And with, again, the amount of sealed we're going to see at Origins, is this limiter something to actually be considered? So, open discussion. Maybe we'll pivot to Facebook.
For sure.
But again, I get nervous about people getting a little too heated. We don't need that.
Very fair.
Keep it civil, guys. Share your opinions. If you disagree with somebody, that's okay.
Really quickly, I'm going to run down, just do a little top-ish sealed picks. I think the top 3 commons are all right next to each other. I think Lenny Ballinger, Hawkeye, and Thori. Personal top 3 commons right there.
That's fair.
You agree?
I like Speedball a lot,
too. I agree, yeah.
Having
Speedball's pretty... I would say
mobility's
shout out
cool.
Speedball, and then also shout out Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, I think. That's how I've been saying it.
Rob rolls.
Top uncommons?
I'm giving General Ross.
He's got to be.
He's a top uncommon for me. I think Quicksand's a top uncommon. And then
I really like Quicksand.
Say Primus or Zax. I really do like both those guys. Just beefy boys. So they're up there. But again, Scarlet Witch. I really do like her. Like her a lot.
Not Captain America, huh?
Okay, so again, a stat beast.
Turned.
I do think the fact that he just is like more than likely a 12 something, and then if you have any shields, he's pretty nuts. And he makes 2 attacks. He is really good. It's just the no defense is a little tough.
If this wasn't Captain America, would you be saying that?
What do you mean? I feel like
if I slapped a different name on him, would you be defending?
I'd be like,
would you be defending this
this
style?
Spear's horrible.
Yeah,
I'm just like, yeah.
Just have to defend your boy.
Well, I'm gonna defend him a little bit.
Yeah,
I do think he's useful with the double shield. But I mean, I didn't say he was a top 3 uncommon.
No, I know.
Okay.
Just seemed, defending him a little bit.
Well, I mean, you asked.
A little bit. Yeah, no, I did.
I mean,
I'm just wondering, if he had a name like Superman, would he? That's really unfair.
Superman dial.
What about the rares, though?
I think top rares becomes really tough. I think if we just take primes out of it, I think
Rhino's
like my
he's
top
got to
rare.
be. Yeah, Rhino's a beast.
I don't know how he isn't. Right. Wow, there's so few rares.
The Taskmaster, too, the close combat
one, yeah.
I think he's a beast. I don't know if he's like...
Just a 13-4.
Yeah, it's
real
really
casual,
nice.
13-4 can copy Avengers,
wild
can copy
card,
whatever
yeah.
else. It could be a 14-4 if you wanted to. I think it would be Taskmaster and Rhino are your top non-prime rares. I do love this Goliath though.
He's solid. I mean, 75-point Giant Man 2, just getting out cool. Wit is nice. The 3-range Quake that deals 3, so that's getting around reducers at least that's a little bit.
Yeah, I do like 30-point line a lot.
No, it's his whole dial. I think 75 for Outwit. I think Outwit's really valuable in this set. I don't think it's completely unreasonable.
There's how much Outwit is in this set? Really, it's worth looking. 8 starting Outwit. That's a little tough.
It's possible.
Yeah.
For super rares, I think Arrow is really nice. Obviously, just more support powers, TK placement.
Tooth Grinder and Cinder all day.
I was gonna say Cinder is probably my number one.
She's kind of nuts. In this format.
Just dealing pen. If you pull Heimdall.
Listening to the set review from JSA Clicks about, Devin talks about how a local had pulled a Cinder and he played against a mirror match of Cinder. And because it's every time she takes damage, after resolutions you deal 1 damage. So when one Cinder hits another Cinder and they're 2 squares of each other, it just keeps going until one dies.
That's awesome.
Just wild. And then if their entire teams are next to them,
you lose.
You're like, okay, it's like 1 attack, I win or lose.
Wow, so this is like
crazy in the double Cinder matchup. Yeah,
just everyone's like, you got this, Cinder? I think so.
Yeah, they're rubbing her shoulder, get in there, champ. Giving her a little pep talk in the corner, spraying like a little water bottle. Like, all right,
it'd be so funny to do that to somebody.
Oh, dude.
And then you miss. It's like, but then they hit you.
Yeah, it's like, well,
it's like, okay,
that's game.
Gonna trigger again.
Yep. I think Cinder's nuts and sealed.
Wait,
seriously,
what?
Cinder Heimdall sight with any enhancement, just
blast an 8 away for some pen.
Yeah, dude. I really like Cinder a lot in this set.
Constrictor's got some exploit as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he does.
So I think Constrictor at 60 is pretty dang solid. He's not gonna, he's not gonna
with that giant
carry
reach 3. He's kind of got like a ranged exploit type vibe.
Yeah.
Which is really,
ranged
really
exploit.
good.
We always
really
love that.
sick. But Giant Reach 3 exploit again.
Giving out tokens is always nice.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder too. Like they've got good abilities, but it's like how easy is it to make that work in
There
Sealed?
is a decent amount of Asgardian in Sealed. Again, Thori is Asgardian. He can carry up, and Thori can be halfway up the map when he charge flurries, which is crazy cool.
Yeah.
I do prefer Tooth Grinder, especially in Sealed, for the free knockback. He helped me get past a lot of crazy high numbers. A lot of people that have combat reflexes or ESD or something. Oh,
sure, yeah.
And I can't hit him, but I can just dink him, hit him for 1, which is super nice. I think specifically, not that I think this Craven should see a lot of play, but one of these Cravens had
He should see the reverse of a lot of play.
Yeah, he had just like anything that has like combat reflexes, 18, 17 defense, combat reflexes. And again, there's such little outwit. There's such little ranged in this set. So it's like, oh, it was huge just to be able to like, all right, free one damage. Hawkeye, get next to him. You can start to bully him, try to keep him as close as possible, and dink, kind of just, plink, 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 Hawkeye down. It's kind of nice. But yeah, like any of these guys, they got super senses, and like that's it. I could click through stuff all day, but I think the free knockback, really
definitely
handy.
Useful.
Really, really handy, especially, I would say over Tooth Gnashers, what is it, destroy adjacent blocking terrain? Yeah. So I would say Tooth Grinder
certainly
over Tooth
the free
Gnasher,
knockback
absolutely
is more useful.
Way better. And then, of course, Empower over Enhancement.
And then
I absolutely say so.
The number one chase to pull in a sealed format, I actually don't think is like that clear cut.
I don't think so either.
Which makes it, again, like a really nice sealed set.
I don't believe in Hulk a ton, if I'm being honest. You have to be on point with what you choose for his whole Boundless Gamma. The make a close attack, heal one, protected outwits, or take a max. I think you're almost always kind of have to choose take a max of 2 damage from attacks. But you kind of have to see who's got flurry, what's going on, And I think for 150 points, this Hulk's a little scary to me to like invest into for what he does.
Yeah.
I think Juggernauts...
He could provide some big swing turns, though, with that free close attack.
Oh, absolutely.
Like an object attack followed by a free close attack after a full move charge and the additional damage for possibly breaking something.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But then, yeah, you have to hope that on the back end you're living, because 150 points, and then when he starts to get down dial, you have less flexibility. I definitely think Hulk is, I think he's a top 3.
I think he's up there.
Is he a top 2?
Because his defense is so simple, just like simply invincible. There's no rollout, there's no impervious, it's just, okay, if I got some good stats, which a lot of commons have really good stats in this set.
They do.
I don't feel too bad going against Hulk, versus something like Juggernaut with the, when he would take penetration damage, he only takes 1 on 1.
Is he the number 1?
He kind of might be, dude. This looks like a pain in the butt to chew through in sealed. Impervious, 50-50 impervious. He's got safeguard outwits.
But his single target damage is just not that great.
I do not like his,
It's, he's dealing 3 to a lot of things, but in this set, I don't think that that's valuable.
No, I don't think his damage is good. I just think his dial is going to be tough.
It's going to be a lot to chew through there. And there's not a lot of pen damage, so he's not taking that one unavoidable. Like, it's a 4 through 6 impervious that you're chancing every time he gets hit.
It hurts, dude.
Magneto? It can't be.
I don't think he carries. No, I don't think so.
Magneto.
I don't think it's Mags at all. I think Captain America's just really solid. I don't know how he can't be solid. I think Hawkeye could nuke him. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of good ranged. There's a couple of good ranged attackers that could nuke Captain America, but the stop clicks having the special speed is what probably helps him out the most in sealed. But again, these 13.
But even then, like, looking at this, it's crazy that he's not like the clear cut best chase in my mind.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, it's still like all of these
for 65 points though. Still insanely good attacker, and I think that's the biggest thing to look at is he is only 65 points. So
he's got to be. So it's probably Cap.
I think it's like Cap and Freya because Prob is so good in sealed.
Triple Prob, yeah. If you pull any other Asgardian, is really nice.
Within 4 squares, everybody gets +1 attack right away. Like, I really do,
But then
Hawkeye snipes.
But the thing is, like, then you're hinging on like pulling other things, where it's like, do the other chases require the other things aspect that Freya does?
I mean, giving other things +1 attack is
very good.
I don't think it matters what the other things do if I'm giving them all +1 attack.
Like, I'm thinking in the sense of like, I pull this chase, and this chase gives me like the best chance to win.
Yeah.
Freya is very good. But I guess
you want
what you're saying is not wrong.
To build around though. You're saying when you get a chase, you want something to build around. Like, that's going to be your heavy hitter of your team, right?
It's just going to be not even necessarily that, just such an advantage on its own that. So it's more like what you're saying is not incorrect. I don't disagree with it. I'm just looking at it, I think, in a more isolated way, where it's like, what is like the one thing? Freya, fantastic.
Yeah.
Leadership, barrier, bonuses to your attack, prob. Makes your whole team better, no question about that. But does something like Captain America give you more of an advantage than Freya does?
I would say so.
Does Magneto give you more of an advantage? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know about that
Does
one.
Juggernaut? Probably.
Yeah. Tough.
Does absorbing man.
I know. I was like, we got to talk about one other chase, but I don't think so.
I don't think absorbing man.
I don't think so.
Even though I truly love him.
He's so sick.
Man,
he rocks. He's awesome.
It's tough. It's not Thor.
It's not Thor. Definitely not.
It's not Thor. It's not Tony Stark.
No, he's cool though.
It's probably Captain America.
Probably.
And then
I'd say Cap, Juggernaut, Hulk.
Yeah, and then you could put Hulk or Juggernaut at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think you could switch them around. What about Captain Marvel? Maybe?
Maybe. There's not enough pen where she does just die. But man, against Cinder, she is like she just dies.
Yeah.
It's so scary. I don't dislike her though. I do really like Captain.
I don't dislike her, but I don't like her either.
Yeah, hypersonic speed and then charge, but then she's there.
What line am I playing Rat and Sealed? Am I always going 175? Is that right?
I mean, that gives you 2 to 3, just like 3 turns to like not die, right? So
it's a lot of time.
That
Are you doing enough in that time?
If you get enough low point stuff, some Thories, some whatever else.
I think I'm taking Hulk over Captain Marvel, though. This is honestly really difficult.
That
and
really
is. Another hallmark of this being a great sealed set, sans one
certain
thing.
Destroyer Prime.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do, man. Yeah, just it being that difficult to try to come up with something is good. Dude, Green Harp or Harpy, Red Harpy.
Yeah, Red Harpy would be a lot of fun.
That's got to be.
If I pulled that,
that's got to be. I have to play her in Seal, right? Like Is
she doing enough damage? Maybe. But the fact that her trait does penetrating, that's enough of a reason. It's fantastic.
And just like, dude, the potential is just to not die.
Yeah.
She's at least 8 clicks of life, right? So, again, 80 points, 10 points a click, at the very least, with bad luck.
Yeah. That's like really
12.
bad
luck. Could be 12, 16.
Could be 16.
Like 16 clicks of life. Probably on like average, she has 16 clicks of life, right? On average.
Probably close to that. 12 to 16,
12
right?
12 to 16 clicks of life on average. That's sick for 80 points.
That is really
Impervious
sick.
the entire time? Yeah, sure.
Man. Well.
Really, just it's a fun sealed set to play. I was like, there's so much good stuff I want to play in it, which is... Yeah.
I hope that there are some limitations put forward then. Because, wow, yeah, like really doing a deep dive on just like, what do I want to pull in sealed? The fact that I don't have like definitive answers in kind of the rare plus, there's a few standouts in the rare plus, but there's more definitive answers, I feel like, in the lower rarity things.
I agree.
How often is that the case?
Like never.
Where,
like seriously never.
I really don't think so. Man, well, whiz kids, the ball is in your court. That's so
something
lame.
Like that. Yeah.
But really,
roll with it.
I mean, I implore them to do a dive of their own and to consider these things.
Yeah.
Do the same exercise we just did live on the show, where it's like, what do you think if you had the choice of like, if you get to have like a sealed option in a sealed format, or sorry, like a pre-built option in a sealed format. Is that what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, if I got to pick, like, what do I want to play against? The same thing we just did. That's what
basically
I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, ideally, if we could pull any of these things, like, what are we...
If I had a choice...
and hawing, over, like, who we would like to choose, like, for chases, for whatever, then it's like, this would be my top pick.
If you surveyed 100 people and they got to pick one thing to pull, what do you think it'd be?
It's like 75-25. Like, that's just people forgetting Destroyer exists.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's got
1 in 4 are just going to blank on it.
Landslide Destroyer. Easy.
So... I think that's about all we've got for... Oh, wait. No, it isn't, Calder. We didn't even brush over this.
What's this?
This is insane. We will be covering Origins.
Oh, hey, that's right. Hey, guys. We're streamers. We're known for going to events every once in a while. We like to cover some events. So
we do.
We're going to be covering Origins. WizKids, so graciously, they're having us come back again. We're excited for it. Like... I loved going to Gen Con last year. Loved covering Nationals, and I want to cover Nationals again. So be on the lookout on our YouTube channel if you're not subscribed to Dial H for Heroclix on YouTube.
Wait, Calder.
Oh, but yes.
There's more.
Oh, what else?
Not only is it Dial H, but we'll also be joined by our good friends Alec and Ryan. So Alec over at Heroclix USA, and then Ryan over at Degeneration Clicks. If you don't follow those guys, definitely check them out. They both have YouTubes. They both have podcasts. They're both spitting out quality stuff.
That's right.
They'll be joining us to help cover this event, so we'll be working in tandem with them. We are going to have a lot of content available. Here's to hoping
it's gonna be fun.
But the internet is fantastic.
Yes. Again, this is a venue we've never been to.
Yeah.
When we go to Worlds, kind of when we go to Florida and all these things, we have a little bit more control. We have a bit better understanding. Gen Con last year, we didn't have, again, a bunch of control. Didn't really understand what like our space would look like in the venue. We may do pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping similar results. Shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars type of vibe. Don't really super know what it's going to be like to try to do coverage at Origins. Don't really know the space super well. Trying to get into it, trying to learn, and as we're there, we'll figure.
Well, it's like with Adepticon. We went there with the intent to be able to stream matches, and ultimately the internet in there was just very tough. So there's always that question mark of like, how is this going to play out? So we have ideas for the content that we would like to bring to you guys, and we're going to do our best to succeed with that. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm really excited to be bringing some more people. Alec has just been awesome.
Alec's pretty much been a great bro.
Yeah.
A great buddy, great friend.
He visited Omaha. It's crazy.
That's insane. It really is insane.
He's been a lot of fun to work with on just different stuff. Ryan, too, really, if there's anyone who I think is more invigorated to make content right now, I'm hard-pressed to find anyone else. Like Ryan, I think really lives for this stuff. I really appreciate talking and working with him. So having both of those guys at the same time in tandem with, my partner in crime right here, Kalder.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
It rocks. So it's so much fun for us to get to obviously spend the weekend together, see all of you guys, and then hopefully bring just a Heroclix experience to everyone who can't make it out to the event.
I know one of my favorite streams we did early on for Worlds last year was getting the Redmond family into Generation Clicks on that World stream.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to seeing just some more airtime with Ryan. It was a blast, talking with Alec, recording some of his games at Nationals last year. So I'm really excited again to
where he cheated
fully.
Just a little.
Fully work with Alec and Ryan. In
Not purposefully either, by the way.
These are people I've just really enjoyed working with and talking with in the past. So it's going to be a blast. And really, the more people you have on stream, the more fun it is. The more people you can
we want to liven things up.
You want to chat with each other. Yeah, it's just such a good time. So
and having that many outlets as well. So it's not just spitting out through Dial H necessarily. It's now we'll be having a few other pages to kind of go through. So hopefully that'll increase the reach a bit. Hopefully you guys can recommend it a bit more.
I did love at Worlds, Garrett having Alpha Strike open, Dial H YouTube, Dial H Facebook.
Dude, that was wild.
Rocked. So yeah, people do that again this year.
That would be awesome.
I like the idea of channel surfing, where it's okay, this table, not exactly the team I want to watch play. This matchup's more interesting. I'll switch over here. Options are always good.
Yeah.
It's oh man, what do? There's 2 cakes. I'm okay. That's not.
I'll have to eat both.
I'll have to eat both. I'll eat this cake for a little bit. Go back eat this cake for a little bit. I guess.
Oh, now I'm sick. That's great.
I've had too much Heroclix content. I'm too full. Oh no, my harvest is too bountiful.
Man, if that existed, we don't exist.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh my god, this house doesn't exist.
Yeah. So Nationals is going to be fun. If you guys have any ideas of what you want to see, what you're looking forward to see from Nationals, feel free to let us know. We always love hearing ideas from the Heroclix community. Ultimately, people
and we've got more hands. We've got hands.
We have hands, guys. Ooh, so many hands.
8.
Oh yeah, 8. 4. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 8.
Yeah, 8. 8 hands.
8 hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a blast. But I can't wait for Origins. I can't wait to provide coverage for Origins and see what people are playing. Ultimately. I can't wait to see the Heroes community again. We haven't seen them since Florida.
Yeah.
We're at Adepticon or Huntington. So
nice little 3-month hiatus.
I can't wait to get back into it. See all my favorite people. See my favorite community. So
we will see you guys there. Hopefully you're coming out to the event. And if you're not, hopefully you're enjoying watching at home.
That's right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Dial H for sure. Heroclix, like always, you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products at coolstuffinc.com. Make sure to check them out. Again, use code DIAL5 over there. Use code DIALH10 at shop.whizkids.com for 10% off your order over there. Ian, before we get out of here, any shout-outs before we get gone, before we leave?
Legitimately, I would like to hear people's opinion on sealed, so come talk to me if you want to.
Absolutely.
And see ya at Origins.
And if you got any
Origins.
No, dude, we got it.
Yeah.
It's Origins. It's X-Men Origins.
Here's just a rule, guys. If Ryan Redman at any point calls Origins while we are at Origins,
dude,
he will be sent home immediately, like Survivor style. We're voting him off.
Ryan is off stream.
And Ryan, I hope you're hearing
this. We can't have him. We can't.
Origins? In what world? And you guys might be thinking, well, you guys are being awfully harsh. I mean, the guy was just trying to pronounce the word. He's been corrected many times.
So many times, you guys. It's just...
Many times.
Ryan can take it.
Yeah, Ryan can take it.
Also,
yeah. He can 100% take it. It's all in good fun.
He's good.
So,
bro,
just letting everyone know that and the thing is, if you guys hear him say it too, just let us know, because we will have to send him home.
We got to find some like emoji.
It's in our contract with him.
Spam this emoji every time.
Ryan
says like
Origins. Yeah.
I don't know what it could be, but it's just like something just funny, like a duck or something. I don't know.
The bicep, the flexing,
spam the bicep flex
with also the red, the emergency, like
the little light,
like the siren.
Yeah.
So bicep siren.
Origins. That rocks.
That means he's got to go.
Means Ryan, get out of here. Get off the stream. Sorry.
Okay.
Take your lime green pants out of here.
Yeah, and your DC shoes.
There it is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And like always, happy trails.